So, we've spoken before about trying to maximise the headspace for the bed. Neither Laura nor I are the tallest people, but we still need as much head and foot room as possible. So, as you can see here and here, probably better on this side. If you look at the cladding, what we've tried to give ourselves is an extra bit of space. Down that way, there we go. So we're talking an inch, right, where the cladding heads back to this carpeted area. What we're going to do is frame it out, and then it will effectively look like a recessed headboard.
It'll look similar to what we've done with the window frame.
Yeah. It'll
just be framed out.
Yes, exactly.
And meaning we've just got that little bit of extra space.
Yep. So we didn't want to try and overcomplicate it or anything like that. It's fairly basic. In behind here, as you know, there's a panel of Celotex, and then we put the Reflectex on top. All we've done for this carpeted area, we just haven't carpeted this yet. All we've done is stick a bit of this Celfoam, trying to get all the bubbles out, which is a bit of a pain, to be honest.
Right, Stuart. That needs stuck down that corner.
Yeah, we'll re-stick that. But effectively, all that's going to happen is we'll cut out the same size piece of carpet, stick it on there. Cladding's going to come across, so all this bit will be covered. This bit will be covered. The bed frame will go in, and then effectively it will just look exactly the same on each side, except on the headboard we're going to have a bit of a frame around it.
So Stuart's just up on the roof. Oh, say hi. And he is starting to drill a hole in the roof of the van for our Maxxfan. And we've made this sort of hammock that we've just taped. Oops. Hopefully to catch any bits that might fall through. I can barely look when he drills holes in the van, so.
We have cut the hole out. It now fits the cowling from the. There we go. It now fits the cowling from the Maxxfan. That was a chew of a job, by the way. Never let anyone tell you that it's easy, because it's definitely not. It's certainly not perfect. There's some little areas that we're going to need to touch up and what have you. We've filed it down as best as we can, but at the end of the day, it's all going to be masticked in. So I'm quite chuffed with it. The main thing was getting the cowling to fit in right. The next job, Laura's just cleaning it off with some white spirit, cleaning up all the areas. What we are going to do, should I say, around the edges, we'll just use some Hammerite metal paint to stop it rusting, and then after that, I'm going to put down some Scotch tape, Scotch fill, I think is what it's called. There's the stuff. And what we'll do is we will build it up to the point where it meets the ribs of the van. So you can see the underneath of a rib here, where it meets the ribs of a van. So when we put the cowling on the top, it should all be flush. And then we just drill straight through that. Now, another urban van life top tip.
He needs to start paying us.
I know, or we need to start paying him, one of the two. The wooden frame that you saw me with, what we're going to do is use that for purchase underneath. So the wooden frame's going to sit here, the cowling will sit on top, and we'll screw through the cowling, through the metal, and then through into the wood, just to give some extra purchase for the screws. And that should be job done, hopefully.
that's the Maxxfan in place. Stuart sealed it up. So we just need to wait and see if it is watertight once it rains. And it opens here, which is fab. And we'll do all the wiring when we come to the electrics. But I think it looks really fab and really neat in this housing that Stuart made for it. So we're really pleased.
I know what you're thinking. What's this great fucking oaf doing back on the roof? And the answer, my friends, is it's solar day. Drilled a hole for the cable, I don't know what you'd call it. Housing, junction box, I don't know. For the solar panels, which we're going to fit shortly. I figured putting this on first would be the easiest thing to do. So I'm just going to feed the cables through that hole to Laura. Once we've got them in, I'll be then able to fit the solar panels.
Yeah.
And then we'll just basically hook them up, and then the rest of the cabling is all down in here. Yeah, so it should make it for a relatively easy job. The idea with the partition wall is, if you pan round, the idea with the partition wall is any cables that we bring in through the ceiling or through the roof of the van will be able to run down this cavity. So basically in the corner where the wall cladding meets the ceiling cladding, we'll run the cabling, and then it'll run down underneath the bed through the cavity in this partition wall. Once that's all done, I'll be able to clad the other side. Once that's all done, I'll be able to clad the other side of it. In theory, yes. In practicality, who knows? We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I don't think we've expressed enough that we have zero experience. I have no DIY experience whatsoever. I don't think Laura's even fitted a shelf before. So everything that we've learned is from YouTube, basically. YouTube, and we've got a couple of books, and that's it. So yeah, I'm a bix.
We're gonna give up our 9 to 5, and we'll be ready for taking bookings shortly.
I'll take booking. It'll only a year per conversion.
Yeah.
That's what it'll work out at. Hi, back on the roof again. That's normal. So I've mounted the brackets that we're going to use for the solar panels. The way I'm going to do it, because we put down these Unistrut roof bars, we're going to mount the panels onto this, and then what I'm going to do is put a riv nut through the panel. Imagine the panel's sat here. I'm going to put a riv nut through the panel and bolt it in that way.
The tool of all tools.
It's riv nut time. Please work.
Has it worked?
It's worked.
Yeah. So we're putting 2 on each side of the solar panels, and then they'll go
on its roof
on the brackets that are there, and then they'll be secured in place. So this is our solar panels all secured onto the Unistrut roof bars. Underneath, the wires are connected in series, and then the wires go from under the panels into this little box. We're calling it a junction box. I don't know the real term for it, but that's what we're going to call it. It's all sealed. Stuart's done a really good job in sealing that, and it has been raining, so we know that it's watertight because we have no leaks. So the wires go into the junction box and then down into the van, ready to be connected up once all the electrics are finished. Really chuffed, and another big milestone done. Thanks for watching.